Standing by the convenience store alley, phone screen on 60 hertz, flicker blue light buzzing way too loud tonight. Feels like my brain data is corrupting just a little bit. Where did the memories go that I saved yesterday morning? Searching through files, nothing but zeros and ones. Cooling fans spinning too fast, trying to fly off this desk. Every signal in the city passing through my skin. I'm fading out, getting blurry around the edges now. Digital dust coating my skin, trying to breathe, searching for a signal that never seems to come in. Break the code or just let the whole system crash. Everything we build is all turning into ash. Can you hear the processor scream from the overload? Waking up from a low resolution dream on the road. Digital dust in the wires, just goes dancing on the power lines. Cables tangled under the table like urban vines, whispering binary secrets where the light never shines. I'm just a fragment of a bit, don't ask me what it means. My voice is static now, automated, erratic themes. Corrupted files rattling in my chest, heavy and cold, stuck in a loop. Getting tired, getting old, the screen is flickering to black. Pixels dying one by one. Is this where it ends? Is this where we're done? Area 404, can't find the exit door. Running out of themes, running out of dreams. Restart, reload, let it all explode. Overload, just let it overload. Digital dust coating my skin, trying to breathe, searching for a signal that never seems to come in. Break the code or just let the whole system crash. Everything we build is all turning into ash. Can you hear the processor scream from the overload? Waking up from a low resolution dream on the road. Digital dust in the wires, just goes dancing on the power line. System shutting down. Only dust left offline. Nothing remains. Grinding losing its mind today, moving like heavy oil or pain. Every step is a ripple in the carpet, feeling a little faint. Standing in the hall, staring at my sneakers like they're art. Watching the walls sweat blue, watching the ceiling fall apart. Air smells like wet earth and a bunch of burnt out hours. Walking through the smoke of 1,000 invisible fires. Try to grab the handle but my fingers just slid away. Moving in a nauseous way, nothing left to say. Floorboards humming a song that I didn't ask to hear. Vibrating in my chest, whispering in my ear. Hear the pipes laughing deep inside the concrete wall. Or maybe it's just the house waiting for the final fall. No straight lines anymore, just curves and heavy waves. We're just living in the silence of these modern caves. Sitting on the floor now, watching the chair legs melt down. Becoming part of the wood, becoming part of the town. Washing away the logic, washing away all the old pain. A little secret in the boards, a little digital stain. If anyone walks to the door, they won't find me here. I've dissolved into the texture, I've dissolved into the fear. socialize. No solid place to hold, no reason left to try. Just gravity in this strange liquid sky. Disappearing from the world, disappearing from my face.
One more minute in the waves, one more second in the blur. Can't remember who I was or who I even were. Just a frequency, just a pose, just a ripple in the rug. Tugging at the edges like a slow and heavy drug. Everything is liquid now, even the beat of the clock. Sinking through the floorboards past the heavy iron lock. Yeah, I'm gone, yeah, I'm deep in the secret that the shadows keep. No way back
up to lower, I'm dissolving into the dark tonight. Drowning in a dream that is almost but not quite right. I can see the shadows moving underneath the surface, washing away the guilt and the false sense of purpose. Moment to the water, I'm not coming back up for air. Just letting it all go to black while I'm still there. In the blue, in the blue, in the blue. Liquid melting down, down, in the deep. Point wrist, sticking to the window like a second skin. I'm waiting for the actual day to decide if it wants to begin. It's a pale kind of quiet, a beautiful lack of any color, washing away the sharp edges of everything I knew before. Just a steam from the cup and the feeling of the carpet soft and heavy under the weight of my tired feet. I'm staring at the mirror, but the glass feels like water today. My reflection is a bit blurry around the edges, shifting like I'm dissolving into the texture of the bathroom tiles. The faucet is dripping in a triple time rhythm I can't stop. I tried to say something, but the words felt too heavy to live, so I just let them fall to the floor and melt into the rug. Maybe I'll just stay in this bathrobe for the next 40 years, watching the sunlight try to fight its way through the fog. Found a dry leaf on the windowsill, perfectly preserved, like a tiny little sculpture made of golden brown dust. I wonder how it feels to be that still and that empty, not moving a muscle while the seasons change outside the glass. I'm tracing the patterns on the ceiling with my tired eyes. Everything is a bit too wide and a bit too quiet right now, but I don't mind the space, I don't mind the lack of a plan. Just the mist and the piano playing somewhere in the distance. Becoming the dark, don't let the noise in. Yeah. The world is still a secret, the sky is still a dream. Stay in the blur, stay in the stay still.
Gravity is a heavy hand, pressing down on my cold neck. Down here in the dark where the world is just a wreck. Walking on the basalt rocks, turning everything to gray. Searching for a reason just to make it through the day. Light is gone, only a spark from a broken rusted wire. Burning with a quiet and a very lonely fire. Counting every breath in this absolute heavy gloom, like I'm trapped inside the silence of a stone cold room. The 808 is vibrating through my ribcage and my soul, trying to find a way to make the broken pieces whole. Basalt pressure, crushing from the inside out. No one can hear me, even if I try to shout. Drowning in the weight of everything I forgot to do. Just a shadow in the corner waiting for us skin tastes like old rusted heavy metal. Boots are getting heavy with the mud of a lost battle. Statues in the hallway made of volcanic black glass. Watching all the empty hours in the minutes slowly pass. I touched the cold surface and I felt it in my blood, like a memory of a house caught in the winter flood. But I don't wanna go back to the sunlight and the lies where the truth is just a mask and a bunch of clever eyes. Give me the pressure, give me the silence of the stone in this beautiful abyss where I am finally alone. Yeah, I'm finally alone in the dark. Hold a breath in, don't let the water in. Just breathe the dust, just trust the rust. Pressure isn't the enemy, it's the only friend I have, keeping me together in this dark and lonely path. Every step is a mile in this heavy, deep gravity. Living in the gaps of a broken digital cavity. The ceiling is low and the walls are closing in tight. A perfect place to hide from the ghost of the light. I can hear the earth shifting underneath my tired feet. A slow and massive rhythm, a subterranean beat. I'm not sinking, I'm just finding my level at last. Buried under the weight of a very long, heavy past. Yeah, I'm staying here. Yeah, the pressure's clear. Basalt pressure, pushing from the inside out. No one can hear me, even if I try to shout. Drowning in the weight of everything I forgot to do. Just a shadow in the corner, waiting for a single clue. Roamed into the darkness, yeah, it's safer down here. Far away from the noise and the constant human fear. Yeah, safer down here. Pressure. Silence. Found a soul cassette in a shoebox, covered in the dust of 10 years. Labels faded out, can't read the name through all these static fears. Maybe it's that summer, the one where we just sat on the porch, watching the world move while we were burning out like a torch. I don't have a player, so I'm just holding the plastic in my palm, feeling the magnetic tension, a weird kind of mechanical calm. I wonder if my younger voice is still shouting inside the tape, looking for a way out, looking for a digital escape. Just magnetic dust and a whole lot of silence between the lines, tracing the history of a ghost in these analog signs. Linen tape spinning in the back of my tired mind, leaving all sharp and the jagged edges far behind. A low and steady hum is all the company I need tonight. Letting the silence of the room feel almost right. Into this moment of being completely true alone, feeling closer to a secret that remains unknown. Just the hiss and the dust and a memory I don't really trust. Yeah. Picture in my head a long road, high asphalt in the summer rain, trying to sync the image with the quiet numbing all the strain. But the gears are stuck, the tape is stretching, sounding like a ghost. Like the things I used to love, the things I think I miss the most. I'll just put it back in the dark where it belongs, out of sight, away from the noise and the blue glare of the neon light. No more rewind, no more looking for the perfect part, just letting the static settle in the corners of my heart. Yeah, just let it settle. Let the metal ribbon rest in the dark. Wait, did I hear a voice or was it just the friction of the spool turning? It's getting tangled now. The ribbon is too loose to hold the shape. The story's leaking out, trying to make a final escape. Stop. Let it stay in the rewind. Let it stay in the dark where it's safe. Linen tape spinning in the back of my tired mind, leaving all the sharp and the jagged edges far behind.
There's a rhythm in the walls of this old apartment, like a clock that forgot how to stop its own heart. I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, watching the dust, thinking about the things that we used to trust. Every tick is a second I'll never get back, leaving a tiny little mark on a digital track. I like the way the strings sound against the wood. I'd fix the time if I only thought I could. Quartz tick, counting down to nothing at all, watching the shadows as they climb up the wall. It's a rhythmic, kinda lonely, a mechanical grace, trying to find a steady pulse in this empty space. Mumbling through the gears, let the seconds fly into the corners of a very quiet sky. Just a tick, just the time. The coffee is cold and the window is blurred. I'm waiting for a sound or a single spoken word, but the house is just a machine made of gears and springs, stuck in the middle of 1,000 little things. I'm counting the beats like a secret I keep, while the rest of the world is falling fast asleep. My voice is a needle on a record that's still moving through the silence with a very quiet well. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't wanna count anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8. Everything is moving just a little bit late. Hold the pendulum, stop the flow. Where do all the missing minutes go? Maybe I'm just a part of the clockwork now, moving in a circle, but I don't know how. The mid's goal is a heart that's made of wire, burning with a very small and cold kind of fire. I'm leaning into rhythm, I'm leaning into the sound of the only steady thing that I've ever found. No more hurry, no more looking for the end, just the quartz tick, like a very old friend. Quartz tick, counting down to nothing at all, watching the shadows as they climb up the wall. It's a rhythm, kinda lonely, a mechanical grace, trying to find a steady pulse in this empty space. Mumbling to the gears, let the seconds fly into the corners of a very quiet sky. Just a tick, just the time. Tick, tock, stop, and woke up with the light of the fridge buzzing in the kitchen. The apartment feels like a cardboard box of forgotten memories. I'm staring at the ceiling, watching the dust motes dance in the gray, wondering how long I've been laying here without moving. The walls are the color of a rainy Tuesday morning, a pale warning, listening to the radiator groan like a tired sleeping animal. Fluorescent veins glowing under the skin of a quiet night, watching artificial colors try to fight the morning light. A rhythmic kind of lonely, a steady pulse in a house with no heart, falling into place just as the whole world starts to fall apart. I found a piece of charcoal on the balcony, drew a window on the wall, imagining a view of a garden that doesn't exist in this iron world. The air smells like wet pavement and burnt out wires from a lamp, tracing the blue lines in my hands, watching them flicker a bit. Maybe I'm just a glitch in the domestic flow, a stay in the glow. Fluorescent veins glowing under the skin of a quiet night, watching artificial colors try to fight the morning light. It's been kinda lonely, steady pulse in a house with no heart, falling into place just as the whole world starts to fall. Long chords, fluorescent blue and gray, veins.
The earth is moving, but I can't feel a thing beneath my feet. Just a slow and massive rhythm, a subterranean beat. I'm sitting on a bench watching the world spin around, waiting for a sign or a single honest sound to be found. Maybe the mountains are just waves that take a million years to break against the shore and wash away all our fears. I'm leaning into the loop, I'm leaning into the curve, trying to find a steady pulse that I know I deserve. Stay, no play, no day, nothing great. Ain't no shade, no parade, nothing late. Light, no sight, no night, everything bright. Smile, no name, no day, nothing all. Smile, no day, nothing all. I can hear the plates grinding deep underneath the floor, searching for a balance that they haven't found anymore. With just dust on the surface of a giant turning ball, trying to stand up straight before we start to fall. I found a stone in my pocket, smooth and perfectly round, like a little piece of town that I finally found. No more hurry, no more looking for the edge of the map, just living in the middle of this tectonic gap. Shift, slide, nowhere to hide. Drift, glide, turn with the tide. The loop is closing, the circle is posing. Don't break the flow. One more turn around the sun, one more trip around the loop. Everything is connected in this giant turning group. My voice is a ripple, my heart is just a steady pulse, waiting for the moment when the pressure finally results in a new kind of mountain, in a new kind of deep sea, where the world is finally as quiet as it's meant to be. Yeah, I'm staying, yeah, the loop is clear. Stay, no way, no day, nothing great. Fade, no shade, nothing great, nothing made. Light, no shade, no night, everything right. Smile, no name, no day, nothing right. Smile, no name, no day, nothing wrong. Loop, turn, stop, nothing all. My palms are pressed against a cobalt sheet on the table. The cold vibration doesn't have a name I can pronounce, just a frequency humming deep in the marrow of my bone. A pale energy moving through the static of the afternoon. I'm looking at the ceiling till my eyes turn a different blue. The texture of the air is starting to change into something else. It's not a sound, it's just a weight sitting on my shoulders. Wait, I wasn't supposed to say anything about that. It's just a heavy kind of silence I've learned to live with. Cobalt Pulse shivering under the surface of my skin, waiting for the artificial night to finally begin its work. It's a blue kind of electricity, a frozen and steady light, washing away the features of this empty room. Everything is vibrating at the same speed tonight, deep and quiet and perfectly cold to the touch. Standing in the kitchen watching the fridge hum to itself. The light is too bright but I can't see, move my hand away. 1, 2, 3, 4, count the seconds on the clock but the numbers
secret between the wires and the cold wall. Don't break the connection yet. Don't close your eyes until the surge is over. Stay in the blue. Stay in the cold, where the memory doesn't burn. The shadow of the fan is a slow rotating blur on the flow. Everything is getting thinner, getting sharper like a blade. I'm not breathing normally, I'm just vibrating with the room, matching the frequency of the cobalt floor underneath me. Just a ghost in the circuit, just a spark in the copper wire, disappearing into the blue, fading into the digital static. No more heat, no more fire, just the pulse of the machine keeping me awake in the middle of the frozen night. Cobalt Pulse, shivering under the surface of my skin, waiting for the artificial night to finally begin its work. It's a blue kind of electricity, a frozen and steady light, washing away the features of this empty room. And everything is vibrating at the same speed tonight, deep and quiet and perfectly cold to the touch.
The vending machine at the corner of the alley. The blue light is the only thing that feels real in this neighborhood. I'm watching the people in my peripheral vision moving like smears. No one is looking directly at anything, just staring at the ground. Got a lukewarm coffee in my hand that tastes like wet cardboard, but I'm holding on to it like it's a compass or a map to somewhere else. I'm not looking for a destination, I'm just enjoying the lack of one. Mumbling to the iron pillars about a future that got lost in the noise. Everything is a bit distorted, like a photograph left in the heavy rain. Watching the city lights turn into a smudge of purple and red on the street. Maybe the buildings are leaning closer, trying to hear what I'm saying, but I'm not saying anything at all. Just breathing out the cold air. Found a flattened soda can near the subway, silver and perfectly crushed, like a piece of industrial jewelry that nobody wanted to claim today. I'm not in a hurry, I'm just letting the minutes slide past me, following the rhythm of the traffic lights as they change for no one. There's a reflection in the window of a closed cafe across the street. For a second I don't recognize the person staring back at me. Just a ghost in a vintage hoodie, wandering through the gaps of time, searching for a frequency that doesn't have a commercial or a lie. Peripheral vision, catching all the things we try to ignore, watching the shadows as they creep across the warehouse floor. It's a quiet kind of lonely, a beautiful and steady decay, washing away the features of a very long and boring day. Mumbling to the echoes, let the darkness take the lead tonight. Everything is easier when you lose the need to be in the light. Flow is getting steady like the oil on the surface of a puddle, carrying the weight of a heavy load of things I never spoke about. Every step is a pixel, every breath is a bit of data in the system, trying to make sense of the middle of this vast and empty world. I'm a glitch in the circuit, I'm a break in the regular urban flow, waiting for a signal to tell me which way the wind is gonna blow. Got a head full of static and a heart full of something like rust, counting the seconds by the way the street lights flicker in the dust. Maybe I should stay in the error message, far away from the logic, in this beautiful abyss where the silence is the only thing honest. Don't look directly, don't fix your gaze. The truth is in the edges, the truth is in the haze. Stay in the corner, stay in the blur. Forget who you are and forget who you were. over. The moon is just a pale sticker peeling at the edges of the sky. I'm watching the rats perform a ballet near the garbage bins tonight. Everything is a masterpiece if you look at it through the right exhaustion, tracing the patterns of the cracks in the wall. Looking for an exit, but I don't really wanna leave. I just wanna find a better seat, listening to the hum of the city, a machine that's finally slowing down. I'll just close my eyes and let the peripheral vision do the work, matching the rhythm of the heavy iron pipes breathing under the street, until the sun comes back to wash all these beautiful shadows away. Peripheral vision, catching all the things we try to ignore, watching the shadows as they creep across the warehouse floor. It's a quiet kind of lonely, a beautiful and steady decay, washing away the features of a very long and boring day. Mumbling to the echoes, let the darkness take the lead tonight. Everything is easier when you lose the need to be in the light. Peripheral vision.
Deep electric bass line and vinyl crackle stars.
Walking through the city when the pavement is still sweating. Everything looks like a half-melted film reel, flickering and tracing the shadows of the power lines on the brick wall, searching for a pulse in this concrete tide that never goes out. Found a flattened soda can near the subway, silver and crushed, just a ghost in a hoodie wandering through the gaps of the night. Concrete tide washing away the features of my blurry face, looking for a steady rhythm in this vast and empty space. A beautiful kind of lonely, a silver kind of rust in the heart, watching the ending and the beginning slowly start to part.
The traffic light is stuck on yellow, a blinking eye that sees nothing. Watching the reflections of the taxis in a puddle of rain. I got my hands in my pockets, feeling the lid of a heavy key. It doesn't open a single door anymore, but I keep it anyway. Maybe I'm waiting for the locks to change or the world to make sense. Just letting the minutes slide past my shoulders like cold water. Wait for the time. Don't move, don't breathe. The truth that let you breathe. Stay in the hollow.
Concrete tide washing away the features of my blurry face, looking for a steady rhythm in this vast and empty space. A beautiful kind of lonely, a silver kind of rust in the heart, watching the ending and the beginning slowly start to part.
Electric bass line and vinyl crackle stars.
Walking through the city, encased in an obsidian border, looking for a silhouette that seemed familiar. Everything is black and white, slightly out of focus now, waiting for the heavy shadows to notice I'm here. The street lights are bleeding onto the wet pavement, like a message written in a code I never learned. My voice is a whisper caught in a velvet sleeve, searching for a reason to just stay or just to leave this place. Yeah, standing on a corner, holding a cold cup, watching the minutes stretch until they snap. There's a heavy kind of stillness sitting on my shoulders like a tide, but I forgot how to fly back home. I'm counting the windows that are still showing any light, guessing the stories happening behind the glass. No more loud noises, no more pointless shouting, just a steady rhythm of a machine I don't own. Obsidian frame, holding on to be
the pose. Don't move a single muscle. Don't get caught in the urban rush. Stay in the shadows, stay inside the lines, reading the secrets in the worn-out signs. Stay still.
Flow is getting steady like oil on a river, carrying the weight of a heavy, heavy load of guilt. Every step is a pixel, every breath is a bit, trying to make sense of the middle of this mess. I'm a ghost in a frame, I'm a glitch on a monitor, the most invisible thing that you've ever seen. Just a low frequency, just a rhythm key, waiting for a morning that probably won't come anyway.
Obsidian frame, holding all the pieces together for a second, watching where the ending and beginning collide. It's a quiet kind of lonely, a beautiful mistake, washing away the noise and the digital debris, mumbling to the dark, letting the ghost play. Everything is easier when you lose the day. Just a frame, just a night. Black and white. Still trapped in the frame. Silence.
Walking through the skeleton of an old warehouse a day. The sky is just a pale gray sheet through the broken roof beams. Everything is covered in a layer of silver dust that tastes like metal, sticking to my skin like a memory I tried to wash away last winter. I found a rusty wrench on the floor, but it was too heavy to even move. So I left it there, sinking into the damp dirt and the old oil stains. There's a sound of dripping water somewhere in the far back corner, like the building is slowly crying its own history to the empty space. Lavender sage, cedar hawk, watching the silver turn into the rock. Lavender sage, cedar hawk, listening to ruins start to talk. It's a slow decay, a beautiful kind of rot in the air. Everything we were and everything we forgot to care about, mumbling to the iron, let the oxidation take its sweet time, washing away the reason and the rhythm and the rhyme. I like the way the metal feels in this cold and heavy air, sharp and bitter and perfectly honest for the first time in years. I'm tracing the patterns on the crumbed and red brick wall, trying to find a message that wasn't meant for me to find. Maybe this is where all the lost minutes and hours go to turn into rust and sink into the heavy silent ground. No more clocks to watch, no more schedules to keep, just the silence and the silver dust and the secrets we sleep with. Oxidize, dissolve, break the structure down to the bone, let it fall apart in the middle of the zone. Silver on the edges, rust in the very heart of it. Don't try to stop the flow.
Flowing like a shadow on a rusted out machine in the dark, searching for color that I haven't even seen in my dreams. Everything is breaking and everything is getting old and gray, living in the silence and the heavy industrial cold of the day. Got a handful of silver and a heart full of deep red rust, trying to remember how to feel a little bit of human trust. In the middle of the ruin, in the middle of the thick dust, yeah, we're just fading out into the silver.
Lavender sage, cedar hawk, watching the silver turn into the rock. Lavender sage, cedar hawk, listen to the ruins start to talk. It's a slow decay, a beautiful kind of rot in the air. Everything we were and everything we forgot to care about, mumbling to the iron, let the oxidation take its sweet time, washing away the reason and the rhythm and the rhyme. Silver, rust, dust, lavender,
edge of the blue plastic seat in the corner, staring at the reflection in the dark and dirty window. We're moving through the tunnel, but it feels like we're stuck. The lights flicker every time we cross a rusted track. I don't really know where I'm going, I just bought a ticket, searching for a place where the noise is a bit different. The person next to me is reading a newspaper from years ago, but all the headlines feel like they're talking about today. Subway shade, drifting through the deep underground, where the only truth is the mechanical and grinding sound. We're just shadows in the metal box, moving way too fast, trying to forget about the things that didn't stay or last. It's a rhythm kinda lonely, a subterranean grace, looking for a way to leave this crowded and empty space. Yeah, the wheels are screaming against the iron in the dark, a high-pitched noise that nobody in the car seems to hear. Everyone is looking at the glow in a small screen, searching for a signal that isn't really there in the tunnel. I'm counting the stations, but the names are all blurred out, like a memory of a town I never actually visited in my life. The air is thick with the smell of wet concrete and oil, and the heavy breath of 1,000 tired and silent ghosts. Next stop, the end of the line, or the start of the loop. Don't get off the train just yet, stay in the dark. Stay in the tunnel where the air is always cold. Stay in the shade where the light can't find us or judge us. Keep moving through the earth. I lean my head against the shaking and cold glass window, feel the vibration in the very back of my tired skull. It's the most honest thing I felt since the morning began. Just a steady grinding count of reality I can't escape. We're passing through the dark, between the ghost stations where the world doesn't have a name or a face I know. Just me in the subway shade, moving through the deep earth, counting the minutes until the next flicker of the light. Shade, drifting through the deep underground, where the only truth is the mechanical and grinding sound. With the shadows in the metal box, moving way too fast, trying to forget about the things that didn't stay or last. It's a rim kinda lonely, a subterranean grave, yeah. Just looking for a way to leave this crowded and empty space. Next stop, nowhere in particular. Subway, shake.
Sitting on a pile of old newspapers near the subway van. The steam is rising up like a ghost that forgot its own funeral. Yeah, I'm counting the change in my pocket, but it doesn't add up to much. Just some metal disc and a receipt for a coffee I never finished. Everything feels a bit distorted, like a photograph left in the rain. Watching the people rush past me with their eyes fixed on the pavement. I'm not looking for direction, I'm just enjoying the lack of one. Mumbling to the iron pillars about a future that got lost in the mail. Carbon frequency vibrating through the cold soles of my shoes. Watching the city lights turn into a smudge of indigo and red. It's a quiet kind of victory, standing still while the world spins out. No more chasing the clock, no more answering the heavy demands. Just the jazz and the dust and the way the shadows stretch into the corners of a very long and silent afternoon. Yeah, flowing like a leak in the water pipe, steady and persistent. I can feel the pulse of the city through the concrete under my feet. It's a massive heart beating in the rhythm. I'm finally catching, got a handful of silver dust in the head full of empty space. Looking at the reflection in the puddle, seeing the silhouette that doesn't really look like the person I used to call myself. Maybe that's the point of being here in the middle of the mess, to lose the name and the weight and just become part of the noise. Wait for the city, wait for the sound to fade. Don't move, don't speak, let the carbon settle in your lungs. It's safer in the gray.
Frequency, carbon, still standing. Objects on the shelf lined up in a row. A glass bird and a dried out orange peel from last winter. Everything is staying exactly where I put it 3 months ago. While I'm the only thing in this room that feels like it's rotting, the light filters through the dust on the window pane, creating a pattern of squares on the carpet that I try not to step on. I'm counting the threads in the fabric of the sofa tonight, wondering how many minutes it takes for a thought to become a ghost. My voice is a low vibration, a secret I'm keeping from the walls, searching for a frequency that doesn't feel like a heavy burden.
Maybe the furniture is watching me when I close my eyes, wondering why the human stays so still for so many hours. I found a receipt in my pocket for a meal I don't remember eating, just a faded piece of thermal paper with a price I can't justify. I'm tracing the grain in the wooden table with my finger low, following the lines until they disappear into the dark corners. Everything is a bit too wide and a bit too quiet right now, but I don't mind a vacancy, I don't mind the lack of a visitor. Just a prism on the shelf, catching a straight bit of the afternoon, turning the gray walls into a kaleidoscope of something better.
Prism shelf, holding on to the light for a second or two, watching the colors bleed into the floor and the ceiling. It's a quiet kind of victory, staying in the middle of the room, washing away the need to be anywhere else but right here. Mumbling to the glass bird, tell me how it feels to be so still, in the middle of a world that won't stop moving for a second.
Flow is getting steady like the dust motes dancing in the air, carrying the weight of a conversation that we never actually had. Every second is a bit, every breath is a glitch in the routine, trying to make sense of the gaps between the life and the dreams. I'm a ghost in the kitchen, I'm a ripple in the cold coffee cup, the most invisible thing that you've ever seen in the daylight. Just a low frequency, just a rhythmic and steady kind of hum.
Wait for the light to shift, wait for the shadows to get long. Don't move a muscle, don't break the glass, stay in the line, stay in the prism, where the world is just a smear of indigo and gold. Everything is okay in the blur.
The moon is just a pale sticker on the ceiling of the world now.
I'm watching the moths perform a ballet near the street lamp outside.
Everything is a masterpiece if you look through the right exhaustion, tracing the patterns of the cracks in the wall like a sacred map. But I don't really want to go anywhere, I just want to stay put,
listening to the hum of the fridge, a machine that's finally calm. I'll just close my eyes and let the prism shelf do the dreaming, matching the rhythm of the heavy pipes breathing under the floorboards until the light is completely gone and the colors turn back to gray. Prism shelf, holding on to the light for a second or two, watching the colors bleed into the floor and the ceiling. It's a quiet kind of victory, staying in the middle of the room, washing away the need to be anywhere else but right here. Mumbling to the glass bird, tell me how it feels to be so still, in the middle of a world that won't stop moving for a second. Prism shelf, stay still. Prism shelf, stay still.
System is flickering, the lights are getting very low. I'm caught in the middle of a digital performance. Every single nerve is buzzing like a live wire, burning with a cold and very unstable kind of energy. I'm a glitch in the circuit, a break in the flow, waiting for a signal to tell me where to go next. Zeros and ones are dancing in my tired eyes. Everything is made of a bunch of clever distortion. Voltage glitch, jumping through the empty space, trying to remember the features of my face. It's a high frequencies, kind of beautiful disaster, moving every second just a little bit too fast. All into the power source, let the sparks fly into the corners of a very electric sky. Voltage glitch in the wild. Yeah. Maybe I should just stay in the middle of the error message, far away from the logic and the human kind of pressure. I like the way the static sounds against my bare skin, a perfect little place for the decay to begin. The monitor is bleeding, a strange kind of green color, the most vivid thing that I've ever seen in my life. I'm leaning into the rhythm, I'm leaning into the spark, searching for a connection in the middle of this dark place. Restore, reload. Let the whole system just explode now. 44 errors on the main screen tonight. Everything is broken, but it feels almost comfortable. Hold a pulse, hold a heat. Listen to the rhythm of the heat, that tiny heartbeat. One more minute in a high voltage stream. Living in the static of a pixelated fantasy. My voice is a fragment, my heart is just a bit. Trying to make sense of the total of it all. I'm a ghost on the motherboard, searching for a home in the silicone forest where the data points wander. Yeah, I'm the glitch, yeah, I'm the spark, flickering forever in the middle of the dark night. Voltage glitch, jumping through the empty space, trying to remember the features on my face. It's a high frequency, it's kind of beautiful disaster, moving every second just a little bit too fast. Mumbling to the power source, let the sparks fly into the corners of a very electric sky. Voltage glitch in the wild. Glitch, glitch,
System is flickering in the back of my skull tonight. Caught in a binary loop that doesn't have an exit sign. Every single nerve is buzzing like a live copper wire. Searching for a signal in the middle of this electric forest. I'm a ghost on the motherboard, a glitch in the regular flow, waiting for a sequence to tell me which way I should go. Zeros and ones are dancing on the surface of my skin, looking for a place where the actual reality can begin.
The monitor is bleeding a strange kind of neon purple, watching the pixels dissolve into a pool on the desk. I try to reach out and touch the image of your face, but my fingers just pass through the empty cold space. We're sending out echoes into the void of the network, waiting for a reply that isn't just an error message. Maybe we're just data points wandering in the dark, searching for a connection, searching for a single spark.
Binary echo bouncing off the walls of the grid,
Looking for the pieces of the secrets that we hid. It's a digital kind of lonely, a high frequency mess, washing away the weight of the urban heavy stress. Catch the pulse, let it run, let it take us somewhere.
restart. Screen of the night. Everything is broken, but it feels almost right. Hold the pulse, hold the heat.
One more minute in the high voltage stream of light, living in the static of a pixelated dream tonight.
My voice is a fragment, my heart is just a bit.
Trying to make sense of the total sum of it.
We're flickering forever in the middle of the circuit,
Finding a way to make the silence actually work for it.
binary. System off. System off. Yeah.
Sitting on the edge of a porch that hasn't seen a coat of paint since the 90s. Watching the fireflies flicker like glitches in the software of a very hot summer night. The air is thick enough to chew on, tasting like humidity and old dried out wood. I'm mumbling to the mosquitoes about the things I'd change if I only thought I could. Got a lukewarm beer in my hand and a head full of memories that don't belong to me. Searching for a signal in the middle of this quiet and very dark suburban sea. Everything is perfectly still, except for the sound of the crickets in the distant highway. Just another Friday night that feels like it's never gonna turn into a Saturday anyway.
I'm leaning against the screen door, watching the silhouette of your shoulders in the dark. The light from the kitchen is casting a long and orange shadow across the dusty park. I forgot what we were fighting about, or if we were even talking to each other at all. Just listening to the rhythm of the moss hitting the light bulb on the porch wall. There's a heavy kind of peace in the gaps between the things we didn't want to say tonight. Like a message written in the static, hidden from the reach of the regular and boring light. I'm counting the beats of the music coming from a car 3 blocks away from here. Feeling the vibration in the soles of my feet, getting closer as the ending gets near.
Static porch holding on to ghosts of a summer that never really ended for us. Watching the world move past the fence in a cloud of heavy and golden dust. It's a rhythm kinda lonely, a steady pulse in the middle of a very quiet street. Everything is falling apart, just as the ending and the beginning. Finally me mumbling to the fireflies, let the static take the lead for a little while tonight. Everything is easier when you lose a need, just stay in the middle of the yeah. The neighbors are asleep, but the ghosts in the hedges are wide awake and talking. I can hear them whispering about the secrets that we've been trying so hard to be locking. Up in the basement of our hearts, behind the heavy iron doors and the digital codes. Walking on the edges of the truth like we're walking on the middle of the crowded road. I got a handful of gravel and a heart full of something that feels like a slow decay. Watching the neon sign of the liquor store 3 miles away start to flicker and fade. Maybe we're just conduits for the noise, maybe we're just shadows on a wooden deck. Trying to find a way to breathe without the heavy weight of the world sitting on our neck.
I found a dressy cut of shell on the railing, perfectly empty and perfectly preserved. Like a tiny little suit of armor for a soul that got exactly what it finally deserved. I'm tracing the patterns on the screen door with my fingernails, making a grating sound, matching the frequency of the city that is vibrating somewhere deep underneath the ground. Everything is getting blurry around the edges, everything is turning into a smear of gray. I don't think I wanna wait for the sun to come and wash all these beautiful shadows away. I'll just stay right here on the static porch, watching the light disappear from your eyes into the empty space of this very quiet and very artificial suburban sky. Don't break the silence, don't turn on the lamp. The air is getting cold, the grass is getting damp. Stay in the static, stay on the porch where the darkness is the only thing we have to touch. Hold a moment, hold the heat. Static porch, holding on to the ghost of a summer that never really ended for us. Watching the world move past the fence in a cloud of heavy and golden dust. It's a ribbon kinda lonely, a steady pulse in the middle of a very quiet street. Everything is falling apart just as the ending and the beginning finally meet. Mumble into the fireflies, let the static take the lead for a little while tonight. Everything is easier when you lose the need to stay in the middle of the light.
Triplets in over the glitter strip.
Gravity is a heavy hand, pressing down on my cold neck tonight. Down here in the dark where the world is just a digital wreck. Walking on the basalt rocks, turning everything into a shade of gray. Searching for a reason just to make it through another hollow day. The light is gone, only a spark from a broken and rusted wire. Burning with a quiet and a very lonely kind of blue fire. Every breath in this absolute and heavy kind of gloom. Like I'm trapped inside the silence of a stone cold and empty room. The broken pieces of the night. Oh, the last signal flickering in the corner of my tired eye, watching the zeros and the ones as they start to drift by. It's a high frequency kind of beautiful disaster in the dark, moving every second just a little bit faster than the spark, mumbling to the power source. Let the energy finally flow into the corners of a world where the shadows like to grow. Flow is getting steady like the oil on a river in the middle of the night, carrying the weight of a heavy load of things that never felt quite right. Every step is a pixel, every breath is a bit of data in the grid, trying to make sense of every single thing that we ever actually did. I'm a ghost on a motherboard, I'm a glitch in the regular flow, waiting for a sequence to tell me where the hell I'm supposed to go. Got a head full of static and a heart full of something like silver rust, counting the seconds by the way the street lights flicker in the dust. Maybe I should stay in the air, a message far away from the human pride in this beautiful abyss where the truth is nowhere left to hide.
Restart, reload, let the whole memory finally explode. Reference and the main screen of the long night. Everything is broken, but it feels almost comfortable and right. Hold the pulse, hold the heat, listen to the rhythm of the electron heartbeat.
The signal is starting to erode.
Every step is a mile in this heavy and deep kind of gravity, living in the gaps of a broken and digital kind of cavity. The ceiling's low and the walls are closing in on my chest, a perfect place to hide, finally get a little bit of rest. I can hear the earth shifting underneath my tired and heavy feet, slow and massive rhythm, a subterranean and ancient beat. I'm not sinking, I'm just finding my true level at the very last act, buried under the weight of a very long and very heavy past, matching the flicker of the last signal until the world goes black, and there is no more path, and there is no more turning back. The last signal flickering in the corner of my tired eye, watching the zeros and the ones as they start to drift by. It's a high frequency kind of beautiful disaster in the dark, moving every second just a little bit faster than the spark, mumbling to the power source. Let the energy finally flow into the corners of a world where the shadows like to grow.
Last signal,
System off,
offline.
dust.
Sitting on the edge of a rooftop that overlooks the entire valley, watching the lights of the cars move like slow motion fireflies. The air is getting cold enough to see my own breath in the dark. I'm tracing a line on the palm of my hand, an unfinished map.
Wondering if we're ever gonna leave this town or just stay put. Matching the rhythm of the train passing through the industrial park.
I'm leaning against the brick chimney, watching the smoke rise up. Everything feels a bit fragile, like we're made of glass and no paper.
I found a stone in my pocket, smooth and perfectly round from the river. Wondering how many years it took for the water to make it that way. Maybe we're just stones in the current, waiting to be shaped by the time, searching for a frequency that doesn't have a name or a face yet.
Unfinished map,
Leading to a place we haven't even named,
watching the world move past us,
perfectly wild and untamed.
it's a rhythm kinda lonely, a steady pulse in the middle of the night, washing away the need to be anyone else under the moonlight.
Mumbling to the shadows, let the silence take the lead for a while. Everything is beautiful when you lose the need to fake a smile.
Yeah, the neighbors are
are asleep, but the ghosts in the hedges are talking. I can hear them whispering about the secrets that we've been locking up in the basement of our hearts, behind the heavy iron doors tonight. Walking on the edges of the truth, like we're walking on the edge of the light.
I found a dry cicada shell on the railing, perfectly empty and preserved, like a tiny little suit of armor for a soul that got exactly what it deserved. I'm tracing the patterns on the roof tiles with my cold fingernails now,
matching the frequency of the city that is vibrating deep underground. Everything is getting blurry, everything's turned into a smear of gray. I don't think I wanna wait for the sun to wash these shadows away.
Don't draw the line,
don't mark the spot,
let the map stay empty.
Get what we've got, stay in the static, stay on the roof, where the darkness is the only thing that acts as the proof. Hold the moment, hold the heat, listen to the rhythm of the heavy iron heartbeat.
Maybe I ought to stay here in the middle of the in-between state,
waiting for the world to decide if it's too early or too late.
We're just shadows behind a frosted pane of glass and time, waiting for the summer rain to wash away the reason and the rhyme.
The guitar's still playing that same old and lonely tune tonight, underneath the pale light of a paper moon that doesn't have a fight.
Let the map stay unfinished, let the signals fly into the space of this very quiet and a very artificial urban kind of place.
Leading to a place we haven't even named,
watching the world move past us,
perfectly wild and untamed.
It's a rimming kind of lonely, a steady pulse in the middle of the night, washing away the need to be anyone else under the moonlight.
Move into the shadows, let the silence take the lead for a while. Everything is beautiful when you lose the need to fake a smile.
an obsidian border, looking for a silhouette that seems familiar in the dark. Everything is slightly out of focus, black and white film, waiting for the heavy shadows to notice I'm standing here. The streetlights are bleeding onto the wet pavement like a cold, a whisper caught in a velvet sleep, searching for a way out. Obsidian frame, holding all the pieces together, watching where the ending and the beginning collide. A quiet kind of lonely, a beautiful mistake in the dark, washing away the noise and the digital debris of today.
Yeah, standing on a corner holding a cold cup until it snaps, watching the minutes stretch like a tired bird in the rain. I'm counting the windows that are still showing any light, guessing the stories happening behind a silent glass. No more loud noises, no more pointless shouting in the street, just a steady rhythm of a machine I don't really own.
Hold the pose, don't move a muscle, stay in the shadow, inside the line, stay still. Obsidian frame, holding all the pieces together, watching where the ending and the beginning collide. A quiet kind of lonely, a beautiful
mistake in the dark, washing away the noise in a desert.